to go. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Paddo. With me on the mic is going to be Kuniv tonight, and we're going to be bringing you a special treat. This is the first week of the Google Rumble, as they're calling it internally, but this is going to be a tournament all of teams made up from employees from Google, and our first match is going to be between Team Geforces, which is going to be our blue team on the left, and Kernel Panic, which is going to be our now purple but soon to be red team once we hop in game. But before we get started, how you doing tonight, Kuniv?
I am doing excellent.
You sound like you're doing pretty excellent. So, looking over this, I think these are actually the real bands that did come out when I was listening to them in chat. So, what do you think a little bit about these bands? Because it seems like we have a lot of targeted bands coming out from both these teams.
Yeah, on the left side, a couple pretty popular bands. Kale, Vi. Nobody wants to play against those champions right now. They're just pretty easy mode, and their ults are just so powerful. And Garen, maybe he's ban worthy. I think that's probably just somebody on the purple side they're scared of spinning out of the bush and just raping their face. So, but on the other side, Fizz ban has to be targeted. You never see that. So that's also interesting. I wish I could have seen Fizz. I'm sad that's banned.
Yeah, I was actually getting the impression that there was a lot of assassin, or their mid like to play a lot of time assassin type mids, and was actually pretty disappointed when you saw the Cassidon ban roll out. So I'm pretty sure those definitely were targeted at their mid player. But just overall, I mean, we're gonna see some pretty fun times. Most of these players here I've actually played with and worked with. When I was at Google, D-Bum, he's going to be the captain for Geforces. Played a lot with him. Used to be playing AD for a while. Originally was trying to main support. Looks like now, depending on, I guess they're not going to be swapping because they did picks in chat. So he's actually moved on to jungle, it looks like. But Windowbeaker and Ponescone's going to be very strong players. Ponescone's actually plays for the HGL B League team. And we've seen a lot of great stuff from him. So expect a high level play. And Windowbeaker actually a very good player as well. Taffy Guy and Zero Batch haven't got to see a chance to see those guys play, but I'm sure they're going to be pretty good. But on the other side, the big all-star is going to be Kadoncha, who mains AD is going to be very, very strong for his team. Also, Shaper of Chaos, who is the captain and the top laner for the HGLB team as well. And then followed off by Raiseyourweaponmedia, who's going to be that mid lane, and who was actually, at least while I was at Google, he was kind of the all-star player at the time before some more players came out of the woodworks at Google and realized that we had League of Legends tournament. He was kind of one of the top dog players, so should have a really good clash in mid lane as well between Raiseyourweaponmedia and Ponescone. So pretty excited, at least for like the player matchups. But going into the team comps, what do you think about these two team comps coming in?
Oh, well, I think I've got a few points to focus on. I'm going to start with purple team because I really like their comp. Just to start off, it's so well-rounded, it's perfect. Hecarim, Aurelia, I love those picks for two reasons. One, they're both really strong. Two, they can both dive in. And I think for any team where you're going to dive in on the AD carry or the squishy target, you need at least two people that are really strong and can get there fast. And nobody stops Aurelia, and Hecarim can just jump, 20 feet right into their face. So that's really good. But then they have the Lulu ult they can throw on either of those champions. And Lux can snipe from a distance. And late game, Tristana has the highest attack range in the game besides Kog'Maw with W active. So it's pretty well rounded, and they can use those abilities, of course, to peel as well. On blue, I like the Skarner pick because nobody's been playing him lately. He's a little bit harder to work with just because of the nerf on his ult. People flash and get away. Draven. I don't know how I feel about Draven these days. He's good if he stomps early, I feel like, but late game, he's just so easy to get on. They've got a good peel team, though. So if Skarner drags someone in, they have multiple ways to keep them locked down with the Rise Snare and, of course, Tarek's easy mode stun. So I think they're going to be focusing on picking someone off and just insta-killing them. And I like the Vlad pick. The double AP is always going to be strong, especially with Vladimir because he increases the damage output. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I got.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I feel like at least the purple team, just right off the bat, just from the looks of it, I feel like they have like the better tools of the teams. I think also in that bottom lane, you have a Draven Tarek, and Tarek's pretty good, but between Tristana and Lulu, they're going to have enough range that Tarek's going to have a hard time just going in, just getting off dazzles in general without getting punished by a lot of poke. So we'll see how that trade ends off. As far as the Vlad Aurelia, I guess Vlad is actually going to be a little bit happy because Aurelia takes a little bit to warm up. So he'll have a few early grace levels maybe to get through that early phase and at least try to buff up till he can get to the sustaining phase where he can fight her off. But she does have teleport, which is a tool that we don't see on Geforces' side. So they actually have the ability that when we get into that late game, they could have her really split pushing or have her, basically controlling other lanes, but she's going to be able to teleport into team fights still and fight over objectives at that top lane. While Vlad's pretty much going to be stuck up there, at least for the early stages of the game, and not going to be able to help with dragons. But, I mean, that'll be good for him because while Aurelia is away, he's going to get to farm up and get those items.
So you also see Draven pick up Cleanse and Tristana go for the more traditional Ignite build. And I think that's pretty good. Tristana's got a lot of burst damage in lane. And Draven's also a champion you pick to get early kills, so I think she's going to need that extra damage output, and it's going to counter Tarek's heal. So that's a good pickup there, and I'd like to see that matchup. I think that lane's going to be pretty interesting, and I love the Lulu pick.
Yeah, I think Lulu's really, really strong. I mean, I think we've seen a lot of it, at least to the competitive level as well so far. But she has the long-range poke. She can push lanes as well. Her ult got better in Season 3 because just health stacking in general or just health buffs in general are amazing. Ignite's actually not going to be able to slow that down either. So overall, just really, really strong champion for just team comp in general. So should be fun to see her. And then Tarek, he's always pretty much going to play, I feel like. He's always going to be played, I feel like.
If you make someone that simple and with that many auras, they're always going to be picked. And it's been shown this season, people have taken notice to his amazing win percentage, despite being played, just about every game. I think at one point I saw in LoL King, he was up about 5% from average, and he was played like 60% of every ranked game. So, pretty impressive.
James is screaming out in chat, aka Raiseyourweaponmedia, that the cleanse is OP because it cleanses Ignite and Tricity, which is true, but at the same time, I mean...
if he uses it on Tarek.
This is factually correct. We'll have to wait to load up here because I just realized that I think my client is on not borderless, so...
That'll be fun.
Yeah, exciting. Exciting news. You get to see my sweet backdrop, which will hopefully be changed in the next couple of weeks when I get my new logo. Spoiler, involves Rumble. If you haven't already guessed.
Oh, do you play Rumble?
What?
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
10 games we played last weekend.
Plan. Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, James. You are Sundown Absolute. You're not Raiseyourweaponmedia.
So what do you think these teams are going to do here?
I don't know how they're actually going to start off the bat. I don't know if they're going to just try to play it safe or one of them's going to be... I have a feeling that I think Red Team might actually try to invade a little bit here, but we'll see. I can actually hop in here and fix it.
I think Geforce has the better level 1 team. Personally today, playing Vi Jungle, the enemy Draven took me down to 20% health, 3 auto attacks. So those whirling blades just so painful early on.
I remember both teams sneaking through that mid brush. So we're just going to see the mirror, but neither team actually throwing down early wards. So both teams are probably going to figure it out when they invade this blue buff, but then shortly after, we'll see actually what the reaction is if they try to go to their own buff and ward it and just leave, or if they actually stay around and try to pull it out.
There always seems to be that awkward moment where you're not sure which option to take. I've seen both backfire. Like, you can ward it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it. And sometimes you ward their blue and head back to your own, and if it's too late, they get your blue, and you don't get theirs. So
yeah, and you put your jungler behind by proxy of that. So yeah, looks like both teams are actually just going to hang around and pull the blues. In this case, looks like multiple members blue pilling back here. Nice little ward over here, so they're going to be able to catch in case they do run back there furiously and try to run into that blue buff. They will actually get a little bit of a tip off, at least from the red side.
Smart ward by blue team as well. I like that.
Both just kind of mirroring each other. So apparently they're just pulling from each other's playbooks today. It looks like just trying to kind of hanging around on the side. I think she's going to poke in. I think Kodansha's actually probably going to poke in here maybe. But no, he's going to run with the minions. Going to play it safe this time. And we'll see actually if either of these junglers actually hold on to their smite or if they just use it right away to get a quick out. Looks like they're actually getting a pretty heavy pull. BZT is actually going to be able to use it, though. And then we're also going to see Skyner finally walk around here, but there is a pause. So a lot of members actually focus down here so far. But I wonder...
It looks like Hecarim's either going to go for this red steal right off the bat or gank top. And either way, he's going to get spotted by this early ward by Vlad. Pretty smart play.
If by red steal you mean his own red.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's all
Getting
good.
so confused with the mirror swap.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, what are these teams doing? But yeah, either way, like, there's gonna be some people left late to lane at least. But on the red side, they're gonna be down in there in those first wave of creeps, much before Draven is. Because if you look at this buff, Skarner's gonna have to run over here, and I think they're just gonna just smite it right away. But we'll have to see actually what they do here, and we're gonna jump in a couple seconds. So Windowbeaker apparently disconnected on. It's gonna run in here, and we'll see if he actually does pauses for days. So anybody, apparently this actually is I mean I hadn't heard about this tournament much about this tournament until my Google friends started contacting me. We're like, hey, do you want to cast this game tonight? But for anybody that wants to know, this is the Google Rumble tournament. So essentially, which is actually a cool name because Rumble's involved, but. Apparently, Riot is actually sponsoring extra prizing for this, so I think the first place team is going to get their choice of Blitzcrank or Malzahar hoodie, as well as a Tryndamere statue, which I believe is going to be similar to the one that was at Season 2 Worlds. So that's actually pretty cool prizing beyond the normal Riot prizing for an internal tournament. I haven't seen Riot actually release much information about this, so I think it's actually really cool. Maybe this is kind of going to be like a test tournament for them or something, but... Either way, cool deals. I wanna play for. I mean, if that's the next step of Riot prizing, like first place team get hoodies and statues, that's pretty cool.
I mean, if that starts happening, with the hoodies being sold out, I might quit my job and just start going to these tournaments every week. You can make a lot of money off those Blitzcrank
sell
hoodies.
Sell hoodies on the black market, aka eBay and Craigslist.
Seriously. Just going to. I made a lot of money from PAX. It paid for itself big time.
Oh yeah, I mean, and which PAX tickets are going to be going on sale here shortly, so I'm sure there's going to be a nice little gold rush there for tickets. Hopefully, I'm planning on actually grabbing some and probably giving away as prizes at least for some of our tournaments. I think that'd actually be pretty cool. I actually hope they. I've heard rumors, but I'm actually hoping they actually have a League of Legends tournament there for like casual people beyond what they had last year, which was just basically the qualifiers tournament. Because I played the previous 2 years at the actual LAN tournament that they would hold for League of Legends, and that was actually a lot of fun to throw into your PAX experience. And now that it's 4 days, it should be doable. But I know if they want to have the big, huge parade and the North American qualifiers again, or wherever they do for LCS there, then I guess by all means. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they did have a tournament, I might not even go if it overlapped with the pro plays, because watching all those pros perform like on that stage was the best part of PAX for me. I was basically glued to the seats there the entire experience.
Or the beanbag chairs?
Yeah, well, I didn't make it over there. I think
fool.
Otter was hogging all of those.
Oh yeah, he actually just piled them all together and he was like, I'm Otter, guys, and everybody was like, oh, okay. I like how Otter has like cult amazing status in their Northwest League of Legends, but like people just like randomly, like as soon as I forget about the posting of pictures of otters, like someone is just like, you know what I need to do? I found a picture of an otter and I thought of Brian, so I'm just gonna post it on the Northwest League of Legends forums.
Yeah, just about every 2 weeks that happens. I've noticed that as well. I don't mind.
Hey, I think you're a little bit jealous. I think you wish people would post pictures of Kunivs. I don't know what a Kuniv is, but apparently it's
Kuwait University. Apparently, I found out.
Oh,
yeah.
You Googled that?
If you Google Kuniv, Kuwait University will pop up, and then me playing Lee Sin.
Kuwait University?
In that order.
Yeah. Yeah, Paddo is actually apparently is a psychedelic mushroom, which is not what I got my name from. But
are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive. I'm sure it's part of my last name. It's basically knocking off a CK, and then Paddock. Paddock is my last name, so I shortened it. But that was back actually. I was going to start an internet company with my friend, and so our names were going to be Paddo Mang. His last name was Mangert, so we were going to take the Mang out of his name and the Paddo out of mine. Combine them, paddomang.com.
Well, since we're speaking about names, here's a fun thing. Let's look at our teams here and see who's going to win just based on their names. We got on blue side here D-Bum, which is pretty good because it sounds nice, and Taffy Guy, which I think might be the best name here overall.
Especially combined with the Draven picture. Like,
plus, you could tell he's laid back enough that he doesn't even need to capitalize anything. Taffy Guy. I don't know what a window beaker is, though.
At first I thought it was Window Breaker, and then when I looked it up I couldn't find it in the original tournaments. But it's Window Breaker. So alright, we're finally going to get started. I'm sure you guys are all bored to tears and crying in your sleep. Why are you sleeping? And I don't know how you're hearing us. But anyways, let's move on. We're going to have a sweet game out here. I'm going to organize these guys up so we can at least follow these matchups. And should be a fun time. Oh, so early gank coming in here on a Kodansha. Kodansha just going to rocket jump out of this one. Going to be fairly safe. Devo taking a turret shot on the way out. But overall, nice little early pressure, at least on that bottom lane, to get him off on the right foot, get some pressure in there. And the Shaper Chaos Window Beaker, this will be a fun little matchup here. I mean, Vlad is the champion too that, I mean, his ult is actually really, really potent. So if they actually get some good team fights off here and Vlad's can hit some big ults, you know, they actually have some really good chance in these team fights to deal some damage. I just like the tools coming in for the red team a little bit better, but we'll see how these lanes actually shake out. Ponescone's no slouch, and if I had to put it to the players, probably one of the better players in this early mid lane matchup, but we'll see actually how it shakes out. I think Arizmendi actually likes playing Lux quite a bit, so it should be fairly comfortable. And if you know, actually he's actually getting pushed against his turret, which is going to be good for Rise, because Rise typically he hates the early push pressure if Lux is able to start that against him and they're harassed. But so far he's actually been able to deal with it pretty well, getting off some decent trades in that mid lane.
Yeah, Luxes generally have mana problems early on, and there's just her AoE doesn't do too much damage until it starts gaining levels. So I've actually personally found the first 6 levels a little tough as Lux. If somebody's trying to push you.
A lot of pressure coming in here. Almost gets a kill, but tanks some turret shots in this bot lane. In the trades, look at Kodansha. He has 10 hit points.
Lulu's telling him to get out of there. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually pretty impressive damage actually coming in. Underneath turret, able to take both members down so low. And the lucky news is for them at least, is that Lulu actually going to have some ability to try to defend this turret a little bit down there. But that is some really great early pressure coming in from Taffy Guy and Zero Vash. Well,
he's playing it smart, and I like his start with the longsword. He's got to get an early kill, and he's got Taric, number 1 support Taric down here. 87 AD Taric, just not going to feel very good in your face. I was just thinking about blue team's just aura stacking, and if you think about it, a Draven ult thrown through with Vlad ult on everyone and Taric's ult shatter combo, that's going to do some real damage if the enemy team decides to group up. And combine that with Rise and all of his ult, it's going to be some risky business for purple side.
Yeah, I think they actually do have like some pretty good execution potential, at least in these team fights. And we'll see how it works out. We actually do see that Kodansha has actually made it back to lane here, and Hecarim actually rotating us down as well. But they get out of dodge as fast as possible, knowing that's going to come in. And 2 CCs thrown out there to try to slow him down, but he's going to back his way off out there. And that's just going to relieve a little bit of pressure for Tristana and Lulu down that bot lane after being sent back to be able to farm up. But although they are the first ones to go back, so Tristana's actually going to have to sustain with that Vamp set that he was able to come back to lane with. So it should be pretty decent for him as you see Shaper Chaos actually starting to hit that level 4, trying to turn a little bit of pressure back up onto Window Beaker. But Window Beaker's still sitting pretty with a lot of health pots at his disposal, plus the natural lifesteal he's going to have. So should be able to stick out that lane for a while until he can get to the Hextech Revolver.
If Draven can make it another couple minutes down here without going back, and he purchased a BF sword, he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on this Tristana. I'd like to see that happen. But 500 gold can be a lot when you haven't gone back yet.
Yeah, it can. And you know, we'll see if although maybe that early pressure is going to make the Tristana Lulu combination between Kodansha like just mentally a little bit more gun shy of engaging. If they don't really pour the pressure on, then I mean, it could be a lane where he can just actually sit there, farm it up a little bit, and you know, get to that BF sword and then get those trades off. And that is a common sight to see, that BF sword and longsword. And now we actually see the ult from Vlad coming in. Wanted to trade with Shaper Chaos after he goes in, but he should be able to survive this. And now he's just chugging up pots, going there, baiting out a little bit of damage, but obviously realized right away that he had no business in that fight.
Yeah, I thought at first with his ghost he was going to be able to catch him, but it really already has boots, and he started the 9 health potion meta, so maybe if he had gone boots, he might have a kill there.
Yeah, it
Doesn't
looks
seem to be using those potions, so Aurelia just sitting back and farming. Interesting enough.
like surprise. Oh, but now we see the junglers actually meeting a little bit up in this top tri-brush. Looks like they want to go. BZT says, "Yeah, I'll go, Skarner," and start to put a little bit of pressure in here. Lux actually rotating up here possibly as well to back up her team. Looks like Arizmoney actually doing a pretty good job in that mid lane, just keeping up with farm, staying a little bit ahead of Rise, but Rise fighting back as she rotates up there, so not doing too bad. But this Draven doing really good in CS. Obviously sent back Tristana really, really early and just kind of punishing right now. 54 CS to 34, so has that 20 CS lead, and really just going to have to look for a moment that he can go back and actually buy up, as this Tristana is actually going to start to push with his explosive shots.
Yeah, he's at the point where he wants the BF, but he also wants half of his boots. I can see it in his eyes.
He's he just sees items.
Many times I've been baited into death because I didn't want to go back yet.
Yeah, it is. You know, greed is the enemy sometimes, but I think he's pretty safe here because he actually hasn't gotten a lot of harass or pressure in here. Taric, even though there's a pink ward in here and brush control is established by this Tristana Lulu, they just want to stay away from him. He's still actually doing a pretty decent zoning job. I mean, it's not keeping Tristana away from farming, but it's keeping Taffy guys safe so he can still farm out here. And it looks like we're going to see D-Bum come up around here and try to get in on this. He is not level 6 yet, so just going to go in and poke, turns into a little squirrel, and backs off out of that one.
Yeah, one thing I like to see is these guys just get a fast 6. They both picked junglers that aren't that great at gankers before they get their ultimate, and once they do, they just become godlike. Skarner is pretty much, he used to be just buy oracles, boots of mobility, and clear everything. But with the oracles nerf, now you just rush 6 and try to make some plays and get a dragon.
Try
and
to
that's
do your
what
best Scorpion impression.
Exactly.
Get over here. Drag people to their doom. But yeah, we'll see actually how this works out for them. But if again, like we should, once these guys hit level 6, like you said, we should see some fireworks, at least some pressure on the win, because right now everybody's just kind of farming up all happy like.
Aurelia's putting some pressure on top. If she wants to shove this lane in, and if she can get him lower, Hecarim could possibly dive top. Might be a risky play. Bot lane's always so heavily warded. It's tough. I think Hecarim's got a better chance of ganking bot than Skarner right now.
Yeah, we'll see actually as Hecarim comes up on this blue buff right now. Zoning Skarner out a little bit. Rai's going to come over, but Lux is sure to fall. Actually has that long range as well. They actually do have a ward in this brush, so they're not going to be able to fully farm this completely free. But first blood actually happening bot lane. So it looks like Lulu actually picked off by a combo, and now we're going to possibly see some more kills come here. Lux is going to go fishing a little bit, and now BZZT is going to be the focus of a lot of hate. Laser coming through. Going to come on the backside of Ponescones. Ponescones taking a little bit of damage. They still have vision, but not fully wanting to commit to a fight here in the blue area. So looks like wanted to go in there. And
that right there, that steal just shows why farming can be so key with junglers like Hecarim. He gets a level up on Skarner, and his smite does more damage, so he wins the trade.
Yeah, that's actually a really good pickoff. Plus, also has some back support. But a lot of good, just early smart pressure. I mean, they got their blue and noticed apparently that Skarner hadn't been able to pick off his yet. So just nice little pressure and coordination from both their teammates just come down and put a lot of pressure on them, and able to pick it up. And now Rise is going to have a blue buff, and Arizmoney is just going to be able to sling as many spells as he wants out here. And Hecarim's just going to be able to run around and spam his spells as well. So,
and Hecarim's winning the early CS. One thing that's really hurt Skarner is the nerfing of Golper 5 items. Like, he could still get a Philo Stone, but back in the day everyone would get, Heart of Gold, Philo Stone, and then just work with that until they could afford some tanky items. And I think he just has a harder time dealing with that right now on all these farm-heavy junglers.
A lot of pressure on Widowmaker up top, but he's able to sustain through it. Keeps his composure, at least for the most part. Actually pops Ghost right there, so he's able to get enough speed to get away from both of those two. But overall, still safe, at least in the top lane. And he has hit level 9 with his Hectic Revolver, so now Aurelia can start to put pressure on him, but he's going to be able to sustain up pretty well there. Now we see actually some trades going after both members. Laser flying across a little bit late, not going to actually hit Ponescones, and we see Ponescones just going in for the damage here. And he's actually going to back Arizmoney out of that top lane. Widowmaker now getting a lot of pressure from Shaper of Chaos, and looks like he's going to have to be waiting for that wave to push towards his turret if he wants to be safe here.
That was good, solid play, doing Rise just how it's meant to be. He's got that level 9, and he works a lot like Vladimir. The faster he can shoot out those Qs, the stronger he is. And if Lux misses that snare, he's going to be putting some hurt on her.
Hecarim just going in here, BZT, no fear. Knows he isn't gonna have a ton of time here, so just runs it in his face. And Team's gonna go in there, take some turret shots. But now we actually see a trade come down here. Widowmaker getting pretty low. Aurelia actually pretty low on mana, trying to chase up there. Looks like Vlad is gonna be able to get it away. And now again, pressure underneath turret, just right outside turret. Lou gonna take a lot of damage yet again, but it looks like Poneskone's gonna be able to pick up a kill on to Hecarim. Hecarim apparently, BZZT just got a little bit too aggressive in there. So Kernel Panic. A little bit on the back foot here, down 2 kills, at least in these early trades in the laning phase. Although it looks like Arizmendi getting the better of that trade against Poneskone's right there. But again, Taffy Guy just runs in, get his damage in, and Tristana actually uses ult to push him away out of the turret. I mean, when you can demand that much of a response as a Draven, I dive your turret and I'm throwing Blaze at you, and you have to ult me away. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Yeah, they're doing some work down there.
Actually going back to watch and see what happened to Hecarim. Oh, it looked like he just got a little greedy with pushing those minion waves back, and Rise just comboed him with Ignite, and double buff is now on blue team's side.
Yeah, I mean, that's always really painful. I mean, it's worse the earlier in the game it is, and when at this stage it's actually pretty effective. And now Tristana, left alone, takes another really quick combo from Taffy Guy and Xenovash, and they actually play this lane pretty well. I'm actually pretty impressed at their Tarek Draven.
Like they're doing a good job. What's great about Tarek is you can't miss once the stun's down normally, and I feel like most AD carries.
3-man dive at least on top lane, and Widowmaker gonna get lasered, but no, he pulls it just in time, so that's gonna be able to save his life. But a lot of hate coming towards that top lane as Poneskone rotates up to just try to possibly respond in case something did go down, but no big dive is on. They're actually going to back out top lane. But Poneskone's actually going to find himself Arizmendi in the jungle, going to be able to pick up a kill after the rotations, gets off that last auto attack, and he's going to be able to turn after this next set of cooldowns onto BZT. BZT actually can't fight this at all, and wow, Rise just being a boss.
Rise is manning on them right now. It's a shame he accidentally blew his flash there in the bush. I don't know if it was just a mechanical error, but he might have been able to catch back up to Hecarim if he had saved that. But still, he's not losing anything here. This guy is farming and he is killing. And
Double
what do you do
catalyst
against a fed Rise with a Vlad to back him up? Just stack MR and hope.
Yeah, pray. There's going to be a lot of damage in there. And, of course, this bot lane, too, is going very, very well. 141 CS to 94. Like, Taffy Guy, not only is he hitting all his CS, but he's getting a lot of pressure in there as well. Being able to keep this Tristana down, and I mean, he's looking very, very good. And the only reason the items even look even at all at this point is basically because Taffy Guy hasn't gone back to buy it.
Yeah, it's looking across the board. Besides Hecarim's Skarner matchup, blue side right now is winning CS. So we'll have to see how that works out. Everyone knows Hecarim's a great late game carry, and they also have Aurelia. And Tristana, of course. Can't forget about her.
Yeah.
I'd like to see purple side swing something in, here in the next 10 minutes. If they can get Tristana fed and Aurelia, just goes even, things are going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think the way to maybe dial this one up is to get a pink ward on Dragon, or basically just find some way to get a gank on this bot lane. And if you can get a gank on this bot lane, then it would actually be able to swing it. Again, Hecarim just once he sees a target, apparently BZT just goes all the way until someone hits him in the face, and he's like, oh, okay, no more.
Yeah. One of my favorite strategies is just send 4 bot as many times as you can. And there's a tower and dragon available every time.
Yeah, I mean, push out with Lux really, really quickly, and then just, rotate her, just even part way. Just throw in some damage as they're trying to back off or whatever, and you can do some serious work there. They have the tools to go down there if they want to, but we'll see actually how they try to break this open. But right now, I think blue team just kind of happy with their laning phase. As far as they're concerned, they're just like, all right, like we'll just keep farming until we push down turrets and be set. Vlad, as much as Aurelia comes in there and we see Shaper of Chaos blow a lot of effort to put Vlad low, he just storms right back like we can see in this top lane. He's sustained to back up here. He's pushing the wave again against her turret. So looking pretty good, although Hecarim is going to be rotating up here as well as Lux, although a lot of pings going down in response. So Winnebago there's no red buff here, so he's going to be able to easily walk out of this because since Shaper Chaos is not here as well. Although the fear is perfectly timed, so he's going to have to pull, and they're not going to be able to get deep past that turret. So it looks like Winnebago, good patience there, but Ponescones is rotated up now as well, and he's ready to do some works. Lux not following, but he's not going to go up there and face check those bushes. So just going to relieve some pressure and let Winnebago actually just sustain back up here and just get all his health back.
And a good gamble by Lux not following up there actually paid off. She got that turret down about half. So that's some good early pressure. Taking turrets might be what purple needs. Just get some map control.
Yeah, I mean, much like I was just talking about, I think that Geforce actually wants to keep this laning phase alive, at least while they're pulling all these big, huge CS leads. I think at the same token, it's like, yeah, the answer kind of is for Kernel Panic to be, let's start taking down some turrets and let's start getting in there and trying to focus and pick off some lanes and open up the map, especially if they were able to open up mid-turret. That would be pretty big for them.
Getting an early mid-turret is, I never frown upon it. It just opens up so much.
It's actually the key of beating a lot of heavy farm champions like in Navy and stuff like that. Is just go down, take down their mid turret early, and you can just open up the map, open up a rotating, roaming, and all sorts of stuff like that. And
Definitely.
They have to spend a lot more wards to actually try to cover that when that does happen. And a lot of people actually aren't used to it too, like that scenario that early. So sometimes the wards go lacking, and you have some really solid rotations and ganks that can open up. But we're going to see Lux rotate down here onto this ward pile around Dragon that's been sitting up there the entire game, but Raiseyourweaponmedia is actually going to be able to pink ward that up finally, so they're actually going to have ward control, at least for the time being, over that mid-river. And that could open up some ganks, although we see Hecarim coming in this bot lane yet again, is going to be able to get onto Zero Vash, and now we see the damage coming in on, although Skarner is waiting in the wings, might see him get in here. D-Bum trying to catch up, no stuns come out, and just both three-man teams going to back off from each other.
Oh, great Draven play. I don't know if you noticed, but he hit all three people with his disengage. Pretty hard to do.
One of them is going to go down. Alt is going to go off, but now the chase. The blades are going to land, and Shaper Chaos is going to win that trade barely. Nicely done.
It's just a classic Aurelia bait. Get down low, stun, and take him out.
Pretty good, too. Vlad made to put on his juke boots a little bit more there, but nice catch by Aurelia. Gonna be able to get her back in this now that since she's been basically just hemorrhaging creeps most of the game, and really just needs to get to those key items, which we see her just start to build a decent amount of items. Has that phage at least for a little bit of slow, and a lot of attacks coming in here as well. But Raiseyourweaponmedia blowing flash saw the Skarner coming in, was probably afraid of a grab, which would have been certain death.
The noise went out, and the Skarner nerf is evident right there. That's exactly why people have been picking Skarner. Is he ults, it goes out, they flash, and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and this turret is basically one more push away from getting taken down if Taffy Guy wants to pull it down. Probably could have picked it off earlier, although Hecarim, they're calling him down yet again. He's had a lot of face time in this bottom lane so far, and it looks like he is going to be coming in now onto Taffy Guy. Alt is actually going to be used, but he's actually just pushing Taffy Guy closer to his base. He's going to take a lot of damage in response. Might even fall if Draven's stuck in there, and Wild Growth is going to be used, and he gets picked off still. And man alive.
This Draven. This Draven says, I don't care about you, Pony Boy. I'm going to stay golden.
Oh, and really, a lot of that's just overextending from Hecarim, getting, again, VZT's style, just keep going, and unfortunately he went a little bit too far, and Draven turned around and was like, do you realize how fed I am right now? And that I'm just Draven?
Yeah, 50 CS, I think a better option for Hecarim there would have maybe just been to go for Taric.
Yeah. I think Tarek was the correct target, and really he just needs his team to be able to. It's much like when you play Malphite and you unstoppable force ahead of your team and they can't quite follow up. Similar style. I mean, he chased him and pushed Draven all the way back to his turret. So by the time Lulu and Kadonsha actually were able to catch up there, I mean, Wild Growth had to be popped to try to save him, which didn't even work, and so many good ults for an engagement were just blown right there just to try to save Hecarim, and it wasn't even successful. That it was just abort mission at that point.
Yeah, and a perfect timed and aimed ult.
And here comes Ponescones. Aurelia gonna be able to flash, and that's gonna be able to save her. Although now it looks like Ponescones probably gonna help push this up, and we see actually D-Bum in that mid lane on Skarner. Going to be just keeping that lane honest as Lux rotates up here. But top lane to be taken down as well, and I'm sure we're going to see the rotation over to this mid lane. But in the meanwhile, you know, the adage goes, if you see two top, you can start to work onto a Baron if you have most of your team here. We have, it's going to be at worst a 3v4, it looks like. Aurelia could even come down if she really wants to, but she's going to actually push up in this top lane a little bit. Would be pretty low if she came in, but nice little dragon pickup actually for Kernel Panic, and nice little response to the fact that they saw two players top.
Yeah, I mean, they probably saw Rise had no boots and just said, hey, let's do dragon. He'll never make it.
Famous last words.
Well, it paid off today. Don't follow my advice, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. I mean, it's a good call. Two people top, they can be able to take it. But again, this mid turret now they've grouped up, starting to push for it. A lot more teammates have set up, and BZT has to use his ult to get out of dodge. Oh man, so the pressure here just between Taffy Guy and Ponescones, like they are just absolute damage bosses. They can throw way more damage than it looks like the counterparts are going to be able to do for their team currently. And that's letting him push around a lot of these objectives. We actually see him rotate down here. Looks like they're heading towards the bot lane to actually just farm and push up and just take this giant wave that's actually pushing in. Don't want to miss that CS, but in response, a big, huge wave coming in this mid lane. And yeah, this mid turret's going to easily go down. Just Tristana needs to close that up, but no one covering it.
Oh, well, great response. And it's interesting to see it's a pretty low killing game. Only 5 kills in 23 minutes. And usually when you see teams like this with this much kill potential, you know, in pickoffs, there'd be more. But I think Purple side's doing pretty good for the amount of damage and farm they've got on them right now. And they're taking towers when they need to take them. So that's going to put them ahead.
Yeah, I think they're definitely making some good calls when they actually have the openings. We see Aurelia's actually going to come top. Start to just keep split pushing that, and that's a good thing for her. She actually still has teleport. Haven't seen it be used yet, quite yet this game. Besides possibly getting back to top lane after buying, but for the most part, like we should see her be able to do this right here. Farm up. Vlad's going to respond, but and that's what she wants to do. She just wants to split push top lane for as long as possible and get to her core items, so she can be effective and dive that back lane and be Aurelia, the champion we all know and love that needs to be nerfed every day.
And look at that damage just do work. Even down about 40 CS, she can still take him to half health in one buildie.
Yeah, and this when you get a really fed AD, this is kind of the scenario where we're starting to run into now, in this game at least, is we see Lux actually dueling with Ponescones a little bit. Is that you can kind of just split push this bot lane up, and unless they respect it, I mean, you basically just start taking tons of turrets away from the enemy team, because the rest of their lanes are strong enough that they can actually, you know, fight them off pretty well and still be able to push around objectives while you have that grip. Now they rotate down.
While you were down there, Aurelia died top. Vlad was smart enough to notice her ult was on cooldown, and he must have realized her ignite was gone, or she had no ignite. So, one-on-one battle, and he comes out on top, and the hourglass actually didn't even have to be popped, I don't believe.
No, it looks like it's still up. It still would be on cooldown. And there's the pickoff that we talked about that would be so potent in this con. D-Bum able to pull someone out, and that's a good pickoff right now. And it looks like Geforces, I mean, rolling right here. I mean, it was kind of, you know, calm. You know, we didn't see a crazy amount of kills, but they were obviously winning their lanes. And now that they've finally started to topple those outer turrets, we're seeing the kills come in, and we're seeing the advantage pressured, and should be a pretty good snowball from their team press forward. They should be able to get this next turret too, I believe. Aurelia trying to execute into this one, but taking a ton of damage on her way out, and eats another wild growth just to keep her alive. Now pressure going back onto the second tier turret, and they're going to be able to pick this off. And yeah, I mean, just running this advantage very, very well for them now at this point. Widowmaker also split pushing top. They could probably even rotate up there if they want to take that turret. With the amount of pressure they have up there currently, but looks like they're actually just going to focus back into this jungle, maybe pick up the spot lane and start that pushing again and just keep taking turrets, because right now it's working for them.
Definitely. They're up 4 towers right now. They're taking 4-1, and with 5 kills ahead as well. Looking about 6k gold ahead, and that's a significant amount of damage to put out. It's about a Trinity Force and a half thrown against one team. So
yeah. And these items too, I mean, the fact that Vlad's already got to his hourglass, Ponescones already has his 2 Rod of Ages stacking up. I mean, he's just absolutely beast damage-wise and just sitting pretty. I mean, they're all just basically getting into the nice throws of their levels. And now we're going to actually also see The buy-up coming in after all of these members go back, and Draven picking up a last Whisper to try to get through some of the armor. Looks like Hecarim, it looks like. Hecarim's going to have that Ice Gauntlet at least coming out here, so he's going to actually have some slows, but, I mean, he's not going to have... I don't know, like, it's...
There's just no health built in right now. It's tough to make that call. You want the slow and the utility, but just getting that giant spell can be so important.
Yeah, they're gonna, I have a, you know, when that Vlad ult comes in, the rest of the damage flies in from their team. It's going to be tough going for them to try to sustain through it. We see Vlad actually feudally running top now. He's going to be able to probably pick up this wave of farm, but he's not going to be able to protect this turret at all. And we'll see what actually Geforces does out here. Because if they stall it a little bit, they could open at least a little bit of window for Kernel Panic to farm up a little bit here and get some of their carries back into fighting shape, at least comparatively to their counterparts, the way it's going right now. Tristana actually has a cleanse now as well in that Quicksilver Sash, so she's going to be able to get herself out of dodge in case Skarner is able to try to pick her up. So I'm probably going to expect to see D-Bum, you know, once he realizes that, we'll see his target's going to be, again, they're going to be the Luxes and other champions and not actually Tristana.
And I was just about to mention that now would be a good time for either Skarner or Tarek to pick up an Oracles. And right as I said that, Skarner pops his Oracles and they start taking dragons.
Yeah, Oracle's up, Pink Ward as well, so double duty there clearing out the wards. But yeah, now they can do sweeping, although it looks like Kernel Panic actually does have a nice spread of wards in their own jungle to try to keep vision here. But again, like you said, now that he has that Oracle, is going to be able to clear at least some of those out, and now they can actually probably set up to guard Baron, although I don't even know if they need to quite set up that even yet, but they can at this point. I think they're strong enough that if they get a fight picked on, if they can pick a fight around Baron, they'll be set up pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. The key thing to do once you take, if you can get all 3 towers, and they've gotten 4, mind you, just start taking over the jungle, get as much of their farm as they can, and just force them to sit in their base while you take everything. And then you can bait them to Baron like it's nothing, and win a fight just based on vision. And I think that's what they're going to start doing here. But Oracles only last so long these days. They're going to have to make something happen, or that might be a waste of 400 gold.
Widowmaker rounds the corner into a Hecarim, and they both just bounce off each other right there. But should see these teams start to group up now. They have bought up, should have some wards in their bank accounts now. Ruby side some for Tark, so Tark's going to be on that ward duty, as we saw actually a lot of wards actually down here still around Dragon, actually, and Skarner clearing out that ward at Baron. So now Vision actually controls all towards the side of Geforces now, as we see them just keep pushing in on this mid lane. And with Tristana bottom and Aurelia top, Aurelia actually still is holding on to that teleport, and she's actually going to be teleporting into that mid lane just to help protect this.
I think what they need to do right now is just sit back and use that tower. And they're behind in gold and damage, and they have a pretty good amount of tower dive reversal. Hecarim can fear on Aurelia stun, Lulu ult, and a snare, so if they try and fight him right now, they might have a shot.
Yeah, they don't actually have a lot of range, at least on Geforces' team. And there we see the engage from Hecarim coming in here. A lot of focus is going to go right away on Skarner. Skarner's going to fall. Hecarim going to fall in the cloud of damage now. Widowmaker trying to stay alive here. Hourglasses and Aurelia being able to pick off Draven in the background. And that's going to be huge stuff for them. Ponestone's looking pretty low. Turns right onto Aurelia. Is going to be able to pick up 1. Is going to be able to pick up 2. Gets knocked actually under a turret. Has the triple kill and now is going to fall. Should have probably kept running, but he turned on this one. And there's an ace coming out.
And that is exactly what they needed to do. That was played perfectly by Hecarim. His ult was so good. I believe he caught every member of the opposing team, and they're all dead. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, it was actually very nicely done, especially Aurelia being able to dive into the back line and be able to wrap up the kill onto Draven, because Draven's especially, you know, she just completely bypassed that back line. That's what it really does. She dives onto you, has that frozen mallet, really didn't give him a chance to get away, and that's actually a big part of that team fight, because if Draven's allowed there to just throw out damage, then you could see something similar to what was happening with Ponestones as he was starting to warm back up and start to pick off opponents. If it wasn't for Kodansha's nice little shot underneath turret, could have had a chance there to actually just cycle back to his ult and get some spell vamp in there and possibly pick up a kill. But
and with that, I think blue team is going to start questioning Baron.
Yep.
It's going to be tough to dive this team. They might not be able to poke it down. So I'm looking for them to start baiting a Baron. A fight without a tower might be ideal.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of interesting there as they pushed in too, because like they don't have a lot of range. I mean, Rise, Draven even. I mean, they can do a lot of damage to turrets, but I mean, Vlad's just gonna be. I mean, he's basically just throwing like wet tissue paper at it. But I mean, for the most part, they should not be just quite pushing straight all in there like that. The range advantage is definitely on Kernel Panic's side, so respecting that at least. These outer turrets, like they're definitely worth pushing, which is where I thought they were gonna start before they just went straight for the base turret, but. We'll see what they do here. Again, if they can just get a pick off in one of these lanes, if Hecarim's going there being bossy, that could be another way to turn these fights too. We'll see how they want to go. They've drawn 4 bottom. D-Bomb actually getting pretty aggressive in there. Vlad pushing top. Now they're split pushing pretty much every lane.
Uncontested top. That tower's dead.
He's throwing those wet tissue papers so hard. Why won't you fall? BZT trying to chase down now, but they're just going to back off out of this, and yeah, there we go. Tower falling, Draven rotating down now as well. Not going to be able to have a collapse really here, but they are just going to mount up and start put pressure on there. They've rotated Tristana top now, so that's actually getting a key member out of this fight, and she doesn't have a way to actually get back in here. Not that it really actually has her teleport up yet, but Hecarim actually splitting off to mid as well, so they're actually keeping Kernel Panic running around pretty decently here. Rise is going to be able to steal the blue in the meantime. And, yeah, this is a little bit of a better strategy for them, at least with their current range.
Yeah, definitely. Vlad going top, just using his level advantage. Triss is not going to be able to engage on him. I think he could combo her down pretty fast. They might want to get someone top fast, because he's going to start putting some real hurt on that turret.
Yeah, and Draven even pushing mid lane at this point, too. Now they're finally starting to peel people back, and once they finally commit to either one of these champions, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to take down that turret, although they're just splitting Hecarim, and with a Draven's going to be able to chunk down this turret really, really quickly.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, this is not the fight you want. Taffy going to be able to cleanse. Put down the damage. Tristana trying to get this ult. Is going to be able to pick up a kill, and now she's going to be running for his life. And Widowmaker on the hunt, going to try to get in there. But no, he's going to clear more waves and try to push this up as fast as he can. But nice little pick off there, actually being able to pick up Draven. I thought Draven was going to maybe be able to survive, and if he was able to do that, definitely would have seen probably the power fall after that. But now just more heavy pressure coming in this bot lane, but clearing coming in for both teams. And they really just can't push this bot lane as long as there's a decent amount of players from Kernel Panic down there able to clear out the wave.
And what purple team needs to do right now is just stall. I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to hold on to this push, but you give Trist, another level, and she's going to be at her max potential here. And I think she's going to be a little bit ahead of Draven. And I'd like to see if they can protect her well enough, she will kill everything, and everyone will explode when they die.
Yeah, she's starting to get that key range coming in here, and we can actually even see as Vlad comes in to try to deal damage to this turret too. She's able to poke him out quite decently, and Hecarim running back in here. And Widowmaker now in run for his life stage at this point. Just trying to kill all the creeps on her way out. But they've definitely pushed him off. Dragon going to be picked up as well now for him. And Widowmaker actually might not be able to escape out of this. He's running for it. Ghost is down, so now he's going to try to turn and get some life steal. Because I can hear pretty much know he's just going to die, going to use Hourglass just to be a jerk. And Pseudo Phantasmi is going to be able to one to pick it off.
That's a shame. She ran all the way up there just to steal that.
And ironically, finally, they've got enough people to go top that they can take this turret. Aurealia's going to teleport in, but again, this teleport's not really going to be able to stop it too much, although they are able to clear out this waves and actually going to work. Laser coming in, Zero Vash actually going down to half health here. I actually thought that was actually, I thought it was going to be a wasted teleport at first, but Luck's able to come in and help that one out as well. So again, this eternal push down here against this turret, not really able to get ground. That's kind of the failing of this team comp right now is they don't really have good enough pushing power to be able to take a turret against this team comp. So I guess maybe the focusing more on the Baron would have been a better strategy for them, although they were starting to whittle down that top turret. But I think Tristana's getting enough swagger now at this point that she's going to be able to go in there. And Draven eating this pony alive is not going to be able to quite kill him, and they're going to pull out his Mending, but no damage is following that up. No stuns are really going to about half health there. Reach another stun. Laser crosses 3 members of the enemy team. G-Force starting to fall down now. Aurelia's starting to come back into this. Squirrel online for D-Bum. He's going to be picked up. Rise finally able to pick up a kill. Draven trying to deal out damage is going to be pulled under. And now Tristana trying to chase down the flash after Ponescones. But Ponescones dunks him. Triple kill. And now it's up to Raiseyourweaponmedia to try to run this one down. Is going to be able to finally land that. And Windowbeaker just basically set up for the aftermath. So both teams trading 4 members of their teams. And I have to say, I like that in favor, actually, of the red team at this point.
I now want a t-shirt with your face on it that says, Ponescones dunks them. That was a great fight. There was a lot of misplay there. The positioning could have been better on both sides, and it just turned into a really just crazy fight. That was I had no idea what way that was going to go, and it looks like they came out pretty even.
Yeah, pretty much. Although Raiseyourweaponmedia versus Vlad, again, we know how that push war starts out, or works out. So again, just going to be going back after he farms up a little bit, and both teams going to be coming out here. And I wonder if Geforces is going to finally go to the drawing board and try to dial up something different. Maybe start to work over the Baron control, because they've had all these lanes pushing. They've been kind of just beating their faces against these towers. They've whittled them down a little bit, but the longer this goes on, I feel the more we're seeing Kernel Panic actually come back into this one.
My god, look at Ponescone's build. Double Rod of Ages, Frozen Heart, and a Mirror Mana. He is a force to be reckoned with, and he is 1 item away from a full build.
Yeah.
How are they going to stop this rise?
And he has another chain vest just because. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a pretty good setup for him at this point, seeing that he's going to be mainly butting heads against this Tristana as a major damage source, trying to go for him. So having a lot of armor and being able to roost attack speed, since he is going to be pretty tanky, is going to actually really help out his team. Now we see Baron just doing some damage as they go in there to try to clear out wards. Unfortunate. Whoever started that fight, shame on you, but if it was red team, congratulations, high five. That's my favorite moments, when people run in to go counter ward and you just throw attack over the wall. Get Baron angry. You see Kadancha's actually shooting Baron from over the wall.
Yeah, that's one benefit of Tristana. Sick him on him.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we keep seeing. You want to clear wards, take some damage.
Wrong target there by Skarner. I think he'd want to pick someone else.
Yeah, going on to Hecarim, who didn't even take any damage in the meantime. Hecarim going to be able to get off some good damage on that All Ponescones again, just tanking through. He hasn't even taken any damage yet, just running into the enemy team. A lot of other members for Geforces low, but Ponescones, just that that boss, that enforcer that is Rise right now, just lives through everything, able to pick up 2 kills like it was nothing. And now they might actually be able to pick themselves up a Baron now with this this control they have.
It's interesting enough, Hecarim walked out with very minimal damage. It then reinitiated, and it turned out like that. It's unfortunate. Free Baron going to blue team now for it.
Yeah, and they tear it down right away. And now they might have the ability to go in there against one of those turrets. Lux needs to be careful it doesn't get caught here. But other than that, I mean, I still think they do have a potential to swing another team fight, even with that Baron buff. Still have the same faults, being a short-range team, but we're going to see their team finally pick up here. But there's a big enough push on this mid turret, I don't think they're going to be able to defend it in time.
Yeah, well, with all the purple side's ults are going to be up here, and Vlad's still going to be down, and so is Skarner's, and we'll see if they try to force a fight now, but maybe they'll just back up and buy, which is a smart way.
Again, this is a best-of-1 Swiss round, so want to win as many games as you can actually right off the bat, and usually. So, this is it'd be a little bit of a heartbreaker right now if you're up about 10K as Geforces and somehow you don't win this game. So I know it's definitely in the back of their heads, just like we can't lose this game. And every time they come out even on a too bad. Oh, Hecarim! Wow, even using Skarner out there too to get him, and he ults. Actually, I thought he almost ulted originally, but he ults and gets out of that one. I thought they had a pick off there for sure, but apparently he just lets him out.
Yeah, that's a free getaway card a lot of times, and we've already seen him use it several times this game to escape it. So now just play the patient game. They just need to work up their own jungle and hope the enemy team doesn't play it perfectly. If they can catch someone, they might be able to stall until Baron's gone.
Yeah, if they can basically stalled out at this point because, yeah, they are going to have that auto-pushing mid lane, although they're pushing out pretty far at this point, as we can see right now. Hecarim wailing on that super minion. But bot lane, looks like Aurelia is actually going to be getting that pushing, at least in red team's favor. But bot lane auto-pushing already for Geforces right now, so that might be... We'll see where they decide to split this. Looks like Rise actually just going to pick up Dragon because...
Yeah, I'd like to see them close it out pretty quick here. In 10 minutes from now, that 10k gold advantage is going to be significantly less. And I think when Trist gets her Infinity Edge, she might become a force to reckon with.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to try to dodge the hyper carry bullet that is going to be Tristana. So we'll see how this goes again. I don't quite like their pushing power, so we'll see how they go pushing in underneath this turret. We see Draven actually in the top lane, so split push action online. So it looks like they're just going to play it cautiously here, and this might be what they need, just kind of wait out this Baron if they have the chance.
Yeah, Hecarim says, no thank you, I'd rather go in.
That's his MO. Eats a lot of damage and stuns on the backside. Ults after the fact, still going to be alive with that wild growth. Finally going to be taken down, and Raya's getting a lot of focus from Tristana, but gets deleted. And now we see him actually going to be able to turn on the Shaper of Chaos, and Shaper of Chaos flashing to run for his life, but he's going to start to eat some slows, and the rest of the team that is up right now for Geforces going to be able to pick up that kill. And yeah, this should probably be game right here. Lux and Lulu going to be the only ones left up. At the best case scenario, they're just going to lose all their inhibitors, but I have a feeling they might lose the game here with multiple members down for 40 plus seconds. I think they could just run past these turrets here, push onto the Nexus turrets, and probably have themselves a game. But if you want to be safe, maybe you can take this inhibitor. But Draven seems to be doing work just on his lonesome. All fine right now. It looks like this is going to be the fat lady singing right here as we come in here. And they're going to be able to clear up that last Nexus turret, work onto this Nexus, and this should be a win for Geforces. So congratulations to Geforces. Going to win their first game in the Google Rumble tournament. And yeah, high fives to those guys being able to come through. And, you know, some good resilience shown from Kernel Panic. They had some key fights to try to bring it back. But overall, just, you know, stellar lane play. And winning their matchups, at least from Geforces, and they were able to snowball that pretty well into a victory here.
Yeah, I think they played a great game, and it was pretty close up there until the end. You know, blue team was ahead 5k gold for the majority of that late game, and even all the way up to 15 at the end, and they still were afraid to dive them until they got Baron. So, well played on their part, and I'd like to see them do better in the future. I'm sure they could pull some wins together.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams actually, you know, this is Swiss format too, so I mean, there is potential to come back up if you can start winning and you know, get into whatever the final playoff bracket is. But yeah, at least for the start of the first week of the season, Geforce is going to be taking home a win. So congratulations to those guys, and that should be it for our casting tonight. I am Paddo. Again with me was Kuniv, and yeah, just have a good rest of the week, guys, and stay tuned to this channel because we should be bringing you more